everyone, Vito's A32 back again. I know it's been a few days. Let me fix my hair here. My apologies. It's been a few days since I've had a video, a couple of days at least. I will have more reviews coming this week. There's a promise. I will have them. I just gotta record them later today. Let's look at what's going on in the world of cars, because there is a hell of a lot going on. First of all, let's look at Kickstarter. The Dark, Veneziana Dark, if you will. 82% funded, 23 days to go. It's not a matter of if it will get funded, just when, more or less. There's the Bicycle Blue Collar and White Collar playing cards from Collectible Playing Cards. 4 days left, 77% funded. Unfortunately, it does not look like it's going to get funded. I don't know why. They are nice decks. I do recommend checking it out. Go check it out. Speaking of collectible playing cards, if you go to the website, use the code VJOSE32, you get 10% off your orders. And if you use the code VIC10, VIC10, you get $10 off their membership. And you get a yearly membership. You can get memberships with discounts off every order. And you can get memberships, you can get a lifetime membership if you want. And with the membership, you can get your special 1000 deck club decks and other decks that are not available to non-members. Speaking of collectible cards as well, there is the Bicycle Metal Rider back playing cards that they're selling for maxplayingcards.com. And it is over 250% funded with 29 days to go, doing very well. It's got a metallic look to it. Pretty cool. The Draconian Playing Cards by Randy Butterfield of Midnight Cards. His first solo release without House of Playing Cards. It's almost 170% funded with 8 days still to go. It's doing very well. There is the Delightful Playing Cards. Not going to happen. 5% funded, 14 days to go. There's just nothing appealing about them. Goofy little childlike court cards and no back design from what I've seen yet. And it's not going to happen. Choice Playing Cards by Ben Colazzi. 69% funded, 13 days to go. It's cutting it close if it's going to get funded, but it may get funded. I'd like to see it get funded. I hope it does. But it's looking a little bit iffy at the moment. My hair is still a big mess. Anyways, don't just love it. I come on here and I fix my hair for you guys. Next up, the Bicycle Eerie playing cards by Gambler's Warehouse. More black decks with skulls and horror themes. It's a classic vintage horror artwork, actually. Perfect for Halloween. There is a red deck, which is unlimited, and there is a limited purple deck, if I recall correctly. 83% funded, 8 days to go. It should fund. Then there is the Bicycle Steampunk Beginners by Nathaniel Mortensen. Not looking good. 47% funded with 14 days to go. It actually has gone up a little bit because yesterday I checked it out. It was only 39% funded, so it's gotten 8% more funding in less than 24 hours, maybe 12 hours. So that's good. But the problem with this one not funded is simply because Nathaniel has 3 outstanding projects. Well, technically 2. Well, technically speaking 3, because he did one twice for the Kingdoms of a New World. So that's 3 projects, even though it's 2 of the same decks. And because he hasn't gotten it produced yet, has no proof of anything, haven't been fulfilled, a lot of people are nervous about giving him their money, and rightfully so. So as a result, it doesn't look like this deck is going to fund, but I'm certain it'll be back. Then there's the Bicycle Titanic by my friend Robert Tomlinson. It's 215% funded with 17 days to go. He's been adding all sorts of cool stuff. Keys. There is a key that is personalized to the person matching your deck. There is a little 2 different sized boxes that you can get that look like early 1900s luggage cases. which can be personalized to match the person that you got with your deck of cards. And it will fit your decks, a couple of decks, and all the other bonus stuff that you're getting, which is pretty awesome. And now he's added, due to a popular demand, a book listing each and every person that was on the Titanic. And along with that book, you get a special replica 1912 $2.50 Indian coin, which is pretty awesome. I like that. I'm getting like everything that he adds on. It's just ridiculous. And of course, he's also added a second deck, the deluxe edition, which will have different court cards. Although the back design, I believe, is the same. It will have metallic inks, and he's touching up the pips and whatnot to make it even better and more different. And he's talking about, he has signed a contract with White Star Line, which was a company that was involved with Titanic. And he is talking about doing a couple of decks for their other ships that also had tragic endings, the Britannica and the Olympia. But I'm not sure if those are anywhere near the scale of Titanic. I've never really heard of them myself. And I don't think they would do too well, personally, as individual projects. They should be a part of this one, if anything, but I really don't have too much interest in them myself. Next on the list, a pink ribbon deck of cards by Gambler's Warehouse, being produced by their own company, Liberty Cards or Arlington Printing, whatever they want to call it. This one has 4 possible different decks that you can get. Currently, their goal was $100. Currently, they're at $346. That means it's 346% funded, even though it's a very low goal. You can get just a standard deck and tuck case. There is a custom one where you can actually put somebody's name on it, a survivor one that says survivor, and a supporter one that says supporter. And the back design is a one-way back design in pink with a pink ribbon on it, and it will say either the person's name, survivor, supporter, or nothing, if you just want the standard one. I'm not particularly interested in this or find it appealing myself, and I recommend more so getting the bicycle pink ribbon edition decks. You can find them online, you can find them at Walmart's, probably at Target's, and those ones actually will support breast cancer with every deck you buy. So it's much more worthwhile to go buy those and actually financially support breast cancer, or breast cancer, not cancer itself, but supporting the treatment of it, as opposed to just buying a deck to show support. That's what this is. Because if it was anything more, they couldn't do it on Kickstarter. The faces on this deck are fairly standard, kind of look like Tomako, and they're pink. Yay. You can actually add on a bicycle pink ribbon edition deck. $7 US, $13 international seems really pricey. I can get one of these at Walmart in Canada for about $3 or $4. Why did I buy one for that much money online? I don't know. But I think I've done it before, but whatever. There's also a acrylic pink ribbon that you can add on. It's pricey though, $50 international, $30 US. And it can actually be customized with names. Personally, like I said, this seems very charitable and against Kickstarter policies. Having the bicycle pink ribbon edition deck as an add-on, in my opinion, also against Kickstarter policies, because you're not supposed to sell or resell anything that you haven't produced yourself. And they claim that, oh, they're official sellers of bicycle playing cards. Well, I really don't give a damn. You didn't produce that deck. You had nothing to do with that deck. You have no right to sell it on Kickstarter. End of story. Anyway, moving along, also from Gambler's Warehouse, the Dexhibits, which is a playing card display case. 140% funded, 3 days left. Speaking of which, Pier 11 has also released their own display case, as you can get on their website. Then there is the Monster Who Collector Inventors playing cards, 5% funded, 19 days to go. Not going to happen, obviously. Brimstone playing cards by Gambler's Warehouse is 111% funded, to be exact, with 5 days to go. And there is a new Aqua edition, and there is a reprint of the original red version, which is pretty cool because I know a lot of people missed out on that. I thought it'd be doing a lot better, but it isn't, surprisingly. Then there's the Glass Legends playing cards, which have a stained glass theme. It's over 200% funded with 6 days to go. That being said, it's only $1,500 because it's a low goal, obviously. Then there is the Bicycle Rongo Rongo back for round 3. It's currently 47% funded with 42 days to go. It should get funded, theoretically, but I don't know. It might have lost support after all these cancellations and retries. And they're only doing the one gold deck right now, which actually has more of a blue back design, or whatever. But they will have eventually add-on stretch goals for a gold gilded deck and a black deck, and they're talking about other decks as well. Then there is the Modern Fighter Plane Spotter cards. 55 hours left, 33% funded, not going to happen. I've said before, I'll say it again. As a collector, I would rather get the original vintage version, not a replica. And as same with somebody who's a war enthusiast, they're going to want the actual original deck, not a reprint. And they're not very practical or useful for anyone playing cards. And maybe there's some plane fans out there, airplane fans out there that are interested, I don't know, but there's a limited appeal. However, with the goal, I don't know why the goal is so high, because right now they're at $5,000. They could print up a deck of cards at that much money. So if they wanted to really print this deck, they could relaunch and hopefully get $5,000 again and print it with Make Playing cards or something for less money. Next up, the Grimoire playing cards by the Edgy Brothers, Part 1. 2 decks available, 35% funded, 28 days to go. It's going very slowly. It almost seems like it's going backwards in the funding, I'm not sure. But there is the... trying to think of what they are. Let me see here. Apparently they could be used as an RPG supplement as well. But anyways, there's the Necromancy deck, which has a couple of monster faces on the back design, and the Elemental Magic deck, which has a pretty colorful back design. I do like them. You should check it out. Then there is the Concentric playing cards, which I did a review of the prototype recently. 6 days left, 20% funded. Not particularly looking good for this one. Fire Dragons and Other Rare Creatures. Over 225% funded already with 19 days to go. Creator has previously done another deck called the Dragon Scale, which is similar. Basically, it's a deck of cards featuring images of different dragons and mythological creatures on the face of every card. Not something that really appeals to me, but I'm sure there's other people, obviously there's people that it does appeal to. Then there's a Monster Pinup Girls playing cards. 32% funded, 24 days to go, and I'm not particularly optimistic about this one getting funded. I've seen these types of decks before with pinup girls, monsters especially, and other weird ones, and they haven't particularly done good. And this one is not particularly doing that good. The bat design leaves a lot to be desired. The faces are okay, but just not really something that I'm interested in myself. But you might want to check it out if you like sexy cartoon monster girls. Then there is the Silver Arrow playing cards by Jackson Robinson, and it's not doing particularly well, surprisingly. It's 15% funded right now with 18 days to go. It may actually not get funded. This may be the first Jackson Robinson deck to not get funded. Time will tell. It's going very slowly. This deck is very interesting. It's inspired by the Chem Arrow playing cards, which are plastic deck of cards, which I do have. There is, the main one is called the Slate Edition, which is a darker color, grayish color, or almost a black color. And then the other one is, there is another more limited one, which is called the Pearl Edition, which is more of a pearl color, obviously. Uh, the Slate one is printing 25,000 decks. You heard me right, 25,000 decks. Don't ask me why. He's never sold 25,000 of anything before. And that was part of the selling point, is that the decks are limited and valuable. And this one is not. And he's supposed to print at least 2,000 of the Pearl decks, depending on demand. There is some catches, however. First of all, they are very cheap. It's $6 a deck plus shipping. However, you can only buy a minimum of 2 decks at $12 plus $12 for international shipping. So it's $24 for 2 decks, which ain't that good of a deal. The only way to get the Pearl deck is to buy a brick. If you buy a brick, you'll get 11 Slate decks and 1 Pearl deck. It's $72 for the 12 decks. That's $6 a deck, plus $32 shipping for international, which is a lot of money. Works out to $104. Apparently, it works out only to about $8.20 per deck, which is a very good deal. In my honest opinion, the reason why he's only allowing people to buy the Pearl deck by buying 11 decks, to say it's a free gift and whatever, is to try and sell as many of these decks as possible, because he's got 25,000 decks he needs to sell for a goal of $50,000. And there's nothing else, there's no other add-ons. It's not going to be easy. And it's not like the Federal 52s or the Independents or the Sherlock Holmes, where he has 4 or 5 different decks. It's 1 deck plus 1 bonus deck that you get if you buy a brick. Technically 11 decks. You're buying 11 decks and you get the 1 bonus deck free. It's a very experimental idea that he has. I do like the decks. They look pretty cool. One complaint a lot of people have had that I will echo is the fact that for a deck like this, he does not have red pips. He has silver pips, and I believe with metallic ink, which does not necessarily work good. I have decks like that, like the Gargoyles and other decks that have silver metallic ink, and it's not particularly that good for, depending on the light, for cards or magic or anything like that. A lot of people, myself included, would prefer a more traditional red pip. I can understand, his reasons for not doing it. That's fine. One thing I will say as well is that Jackson Robinson, I was posting comments, and I haven't seen him respond to anything. He's got other people responding, and he's not. Why, I don't know. And I know on the forums he's also been not very active, because he's been getting bashed a lot. But anyway, the good thing is this deck is affordable. $6 each. Even better, it's got all the bells and whistles. Metallic inks, foil, embossing. He went all out with these decks, but in order to get everything on these decks and make it $6, he has to get 25,000, apparently. Personally, I think most people would prefer to pay a few bucks more, get all the bells and whistles, be able to get the limited edition deck without actually buying a brick, and also be able to get just 1 deck if they want, or 1 of each if they want, instead of buying 12 decks, or having to buy at least 2 at a minimum. But whatever. And they say that the reason why you have to buy 2 and they're not doing just 1 is for financial reasons, and that they would go in the red if they were selling just decks individually. Which begs the question, why bother if it's that much of an issue, a financial concern? Why bother, I don't understand it too much, and it doesn't look like it's going to be very successful. Then there is the Impressions playing cards by Nick Playing Cards. It's 1,270% funded, very well funded. 7 days left. There is the Super Suits playing cards, which has a superhero theme. Pretty cool. There is a kind of white multicolored version, which is pretty cool. And then there is a black dark version. It's over 160% funded with 12 days to go. With every order, you will also get a mini deck version of the main deck, which is the colored one. And also, you're going to get a set of pins representing each one of their suits. And if you get the black deck, you also get a pin representing the black deck. So it's pretty awesome. Lots of cool freebies. I like that. Pretty good deal for the price. Then there is the installment cards, which are not instilling a whole lot of sales. 17% funded with 9 days to go. It's not going to happen. And I could have predicted that before they launched. In fact, I'm offering my services here. You want to launch a deck on Kickstarter? Run it by me. I'll tell you if it's going to do well or not. It'll be a prediction because you never know, but I'm pretty good at this thing. There's so many decks on Kickstarter I've seen that I know right away, not a chance in hell, or gonna do well. Installment cards, I knew right away, not a chance in hell. Draconian playing cards, I knew they would do well. So anyways, moving along, there is the Pack of Dogs playing cards. 14 days left, 70% funded. I'm not sure it's going to get funded. Personally, I recommend the Emmanuel Jose decks. Similar idea, much better in my opinion. And this one, like the Pack of Dogs one, it just seems really cartoony. The picture's not that good. Then there is the Bicycle Revenge playing cards. Another one that's not going to make it. 48 days left, it's 7% funded. It's got an awful one-way back design that features a seal with swords. That's not mirror image. If it was mirror image, it'd be better. And then the faces, they're all red. The face is white, but everything is red. The pips are all red, and all the suits. Court cards are red and tiny, and it's just not very appealing. And I don't understand why do decks like this that aren't appealing. I just don't know. Then there's the Bicycle Sky Descender playing cards. 16 days left, 68% funded. Don't know what's going to happen. However, I have a red flag with this one, a concern. The creator himself posted an update late yesterday saying that he was going to deposit about $1,500 from a fake account into the project to help her get funded out, supposedly coming from his Chinese friends who are afraid to pledge on Kickstarter because of currency differences. In my opinion, bad idea, red flag, not good, and against Kickstarter rules, and buyer beware. Not a fan of that. I don't think it's a good idea. It looks like you're putting money into your own project, and only Dan and Dave do that. Really. Moving along, there is the Amigos playing cards. Not gonna happen, I don't think. 5 days left, 5% funded, sorry. 27 days left, 5% funded. 3 different decks, $30,000 goal. We've seen this many times before. A first-time creator, especially someone who's never backed any projects as well, with a goal of $30,000 for free decks. And free decks that aren't even very appealing. It's just not going to happen. You gotta have really nice decks like Jackson Robinson decks if you want to have a goal that's $30,000. And most people, I've seen lots of creators time and time again, especially first timers, go on Kickstarter with a project that has 2 decks or 3 decks, which is double or triple the funding they would need, and there's not a chance in hell. So why people still do that, I have no freaking idea. It's stupid. I mean, if you really want to produce 3 decks at the same time, go with something like Make Playing Cards or some other cheap-ass company. Have a goal of like $5,000 or $8,000, and you'll have a hell of a lot better chance of it actually getting funded. Because the appeal is just not going to be there. for a deck like this. Speaking of appeal, next up is the Bicycle Smiley deck, which is 2% funded now. Yay! With 18 days left. Mr. Smiley Face here is not smiling, I'm pretty sure. Then there is the Zombie playing cards. 3 hours left. Over 130% funded. Not something that's really appealing to me because there's so many other zombie decks out there. Then there is the Kingdoms of Erdin playing cards, currently 69% funded, 35 days to go. Should get funded, but I haven't lost interest in it because it's the same thing as the last one, same back design, same colors, same court cards. The only difference is the court cards have, I believe, a defensive pose instead of an offensive pose, I guess. And the quality was just not there for me. I just did not like it that much. So I have little interest in buying another one. Then there is the Notable Women in Computing playing cards, which I think I mentioned a few days ago. Surprisingly, it is funded. Just barely, but it is funded with 27 days to go. Not very appealing to me. It just has different women, pictures of women, not even art. They're not artwork. It's just pictures of women on the face of every card with their name and information on what they did in computing. I'm not sure how he found 52 women that had something to do with computing, but he did apparently. And the back design, I think, is also a lame one-way back design of a picture or something. Must be. I'm surprised because I thought that this one had no chance in hell, like the Montague Inventors. But I guess the goal was low enough that it made it. Goes to show you, if you got a deck that has limited appeal, you have a low goal, it will fund. But if you take the same deck, you give it a $10,000 goal or a $30,000 goal, not a chance in hell. Next up, the Fine Line playing cards. 22 days left, 265% funded, doing very well. This is a very interesting deck of cards, and I apologize if this video is a little bit long. I'll try to hurry it up. But anyways, this is a very interesting deck of cards because it does not have any actual pips or numbers or letters on it. Every card has different artwork on it. It has clues and mysteries that you can solve that will help you determine what the value and suit of every card is. Very interesting. On top of that, it's already on its way to getting printed because the creator has already set half of the money to USPC to get it printed. They came to Kickstarter to get the rest of the money. And wow, that's how all Kickstarter projects, especially by companies that have already produced lots of decks on Kickstarter, should be doing it. And I know that's what Gambler's Warehouse and Collectible Playing Cards basically do. But other companies like Albino Dragon, Jackson Robinson, Elite Playing Cards, they should be doing the same thing. They should have enough money from previous projects that they can pay half of the money for a deck of cards, put it on Kickstarter, get the rest of the money, use some of that money for the next deck, and meanwhile they can get the deck out to people as soon as possible instead of months and months and months of delays. You know, there's no reason for that. Moving along, there's another cool deck of cards. It's the Russian Folk Art playing cards. It's got a lot of red and green colors. Every card has Russian symbolism on the face of every card. It's pretty cool. It's a USPC deck. It's currently 70% funded with 33 days to go. Unfortunately, it is a very nice deck. I like it. The back design reminds me a little bit of tally hole circle backs and whatnot. However, there's just way too many decks on Kickstarter that are appealing and popular for this one to have a whole lot of success. Unfortunately, it's not doing very well. I don't think it's going to get funded, which is unfortunate because it's a nice deck of cards. It's a different theme, it's unique and original, and it should get funded. And normally, I'm pretty sure it would get funded, but with the ginormous amount of decks that's on Kickstarter right now, as you can tell by the length of this video, it's not going to happen. And I promise you there's only a few more decks to talk about. Next up is the 1910 Brewhouse Bicycle playing cards, which has a 1900s, early 1900s beer theme. It's currently 25% funded, 22 days to go. Not looking very good. They have added a red deck that you can get that has a bit of different artwork on the box and a different back design, but I think the faces are more or less the same. I can't recall exactly though. And so far that has not helped out a whole lot. Again, too many decks on Kickstarter, tying up people's resources and finances, and they can't support so many decks of cards. For a while there on Kickstarter, it was good. There wasn't too many decks of cards. There was a lot that were failing, that they sucked. And now, once again, you got a whole bunch of decks trying to get everyone's money, and it's just not going to work. Next up is the Retro deck from Pocono Modern, which has two versions. One that has white faces with black pips and orange pips, and the other one has the same back design. However, the faces are orange on the hearts and diamonds, gray on the spades and clubs, with white borders to match the white borders on the backs. And it's pretty cool. Very retro style look to it, and you might want to check it out. 22 days left, 37% funded. Not particularly doing too well. Hopefully it turns around. There's all sorts of tarot decks, but we won't bother with that. We're spending enough time as it is. King's Cup cards, I mentioned them before. They're a drinking game, but can also be used as a regular deck of cards. 10 days left, 21% funded. I told you this a long time ago it wasn't going to happen, and it's not happening. There's another new deck of cards. That's not particularly, I mean, it can be used as a standard deck of cards, but that's not its general intent. It is called Go Cache. It's on geocaching, which is something where you use phones to try and do some kind of thing. The cards, pretty interesting. They have all sorts of different artwork on them, clues, information, and they're mostly for this geocaching thing, but they do have actual card indexes on there that allow you to use them as a regular deck of cards. It's almost 170% funded with 27 days to go. Low goal explains it. Not something I'm particularly interested in myself. And there is, I've been waiting for this one, the 100th Anniversary World War I Centenary deck. Pretty cool deck that I will have to check out. It's 3% funded, 29 days to go. I'm not sure what's going to happen with it. Let me have a look. It's obviously inspired and commemorating World War I, because that was about 100 years ago. It's going to be printed by Expert Point Card Company. Each one of the suits represents a key empire that played a part in the war. Apparently, in the eye of each of the court cards, you will find, in each eye of the court card, you will find a version of the card's respective coat of arms, which is pretty cool. And number cards have custom pips. And the Joker, which is a messenger pigeon, actually has a 7 of diamonds reveal. The back design is a compass, and it's mirror image, two-way design, that's good. Diamonds represent America, hearts, Britain, spades, Germany, and clubs, Austria. And the artwork is nice, a little bit somewhat cartoony, I suppose, but the court cards represent people from those respective countries, I believe. Pretty interesting artwork. And there's a coin you can get, which is pretty cool, representing the war. A dog tag, and some stretch goals. What more could you say? It's pretty cool. It's from somebody in Australia. And and the price isn't bad. I mean, $9 Australian with $3 shipping for one deck. Pretty good if you ask me. I just want to see, and that's his first product, Sam Scott. Let's see what else we got. I know there's more. Oh, crapola. Bear with me. And a couple more to tell you about for sure. Alright, well, one more to tell you about. Hasn't been released yet, but it is going to be released today. It's called Sisu. I hope that's how you pronounce it. Four Beasts. It's got Chinese mythology theme to it, a nice light blue color. It's a relaunch. It was on Kickstarter before. I believe then it had a red version and a blue version. Did not make the funding goal, but it's back. And it's going to relaunch today, and I look forward to that. I'll be there. And that is it. That's what I've got. Stay tuned for more. I'll see you next time.